stay down, down. I'm just stuck here in a dream. Back at the bottom of the ocean. I'm at the bottom of the sea. I'll stay down, down. I'm just stuck here in a dream. I'm at the bottom of the sea. I'll stay down, down. I'm just stuck here in a dream.
is a public service announcement from C.T. Fletcher. I will not contribute to the pussification of a nation. Get your punk ass out there and work for it, motherfucker.
Let's roll.
Morning, Sergeant Major.
How do you know what kind of goddamn day it is?
Beautiful morning, Sergeant Major.
Are you a fucking weatherman now?
You're listening to Sergeant's Time on WTF Nation Radio.
Oh, yeah. Broadcasting live from the Functional Veteran Center of Excellence in this 24th September in the year of the dumpster fire 2020. I'm your host, Ice, in the gunner seat. I got Shipwreck. Yeah. U.S. Army WTF Moments, WTF Nation Radio, Sergeant's Time. Man, what a day. Thank you so much for being in attendance. Haley Britzky from Task and Purpose is going to come on. Can't wait. We're going to talk about all things Army related and, of course, pulling files and stories and articles from the Task and Purpose news site, which we're pretty excited. I think we haven't had any Task and Purpose individuals on for a while.
Nope, haven't.
Yeah, so it's been a long yeah, it's been a few months. So I think it's pretty cool that we have her coming on. I don't think she was part of the team just yet. She's from Axios. Originally came from Axios, and so now look at it. We got big news people hanging out with us. That's what I'm talking. I think we hit the top. Have we hit the top when we have big name news media individuals hanging out with us and stuff like that?
We have the top 10 now.
Yeah, we're like,
top
yeah.
5.
I don't even consider ourselves media. I mean, I'm just totally honored to be given the opportunity to interview anybody that's of big media, because it kind of gives us an insight on how big media works. I want to say big media because then big media sounds like it's mainstream media. Unorthodox media? I mean, what would you call it? Would you call it, different?
A different spin to different facts and give you a better viewpoint.
Not really a different spin. I mean, just it's not a. See, that's the thing. It's everyone gets hyped up about spin and all that, when then really it's just reporting some of the information that needs to report it out, and it's got to be reported accurately. You know what I mean? So people get it. I think what it is that when people say spin, it's the accuracy of how it came across that way, if that makes any sense. So if you didn't like the information, then people will say, oh, it's BS, it's wrong, even though it's been verified as it being true. That's a good point. The way you said that, the way you said it's how it's spent.
Well, I should have used a better word from more of a open eye point of view, and like Task and Purpose does. Some of these mainstream medias are a little biased, but
little biased.
Hey, I'm trying to be nice about it. I don't want Facebook to give us some issues tonight.
Yeah, no, exactly. Oh my God, it's because that's what Twitter had some drama. There's a lot of individuals that have had their paid
Meltdowns, huh?
Yeah, no, not really meltdowns. No, they had large followerships, and then it just kind of like faded out. Individuals just lost thousands and thousands of followers that of the multitude of thousands of individuals that have had following on their stuff. So it's like, yeah, big media does sound like big pharma. It does. You're right, Pooks. So in a way, it's kind of a different way of how it's. I mean, I wouldn't say it's spun. See, there you go. Now you got me saying it the way it's spun. I'll be honest with you. It's some of the stuff that's military stuff. You either did, you didn't, and all that, and then investigations at play. So we're gonna do this show kind of different, because normally we pull headlines and stuff like that at the first hour, and then the guest comes on, and then we do screenshot madness. Well, we are gonna do this in reverse. Due to the fact that our guest, more than likely, would have gotten the stories from, or that's our guest, me and her are going to talk about the stories. So it's gonna be kind of cool to have like a real down and depth. Now, most of the stuff that we've been that's been really pushing right now, that's been a larger advocate, an advocate for the Army, is the elevation of award from Silver Star to Medal of Honor for Sergeant First Class Alwyn Cash. And I read you guys a story a while back about that. So I'm pretty excited about that, to have him, to have that, just a resolution just passed. I'm just going to give her the deets on that. She's been covering the walkthrough, a little bit of that. And then she's also been covering the Vanessa Guillen case, which there has been continuous updates and revelations, I guess you would say. So, and then the subsequent Fort Hood visit and all that. So we're going to cover all that stuff right there. There's going to be some questions I'm going to ask. Some of the information you have may already heard, or some of the information you may not have heard, but we're going to talk about that, and then that's pretty much it. So without further ado, Screenshot Madness is going to happen now.
So let's get your popcorn going.
Let's get your popcorn ready now. To the fan that sent me that one screenshot that asked me to not post it, I will respect and honor that screenshot. I had said last week about somebody who was harassing some of the individuals within our chats and all that. Well, I had receipts, and then they decided not to have that, and not understandable. I respect that. So I removed that that was going to be the first cue. So that individual, I will respect those wishes and not have that screenshot posted up of said individuals, and that's being taken up through their channels. So there we go. How about that? That's a better. But it's a start. No, I didn't think I'd get any response. I didn't think I'd get any hooks. I mean, you think you get your screenshot posted on U.S. Army WTF Moments, and that's a big deal. You're gonna, especially when we're gonna clown it and laugh about it too. So it's gonna be you don't want to. But again, the offer's still open. Feel free to send it to some of your screenshots to WTF Nation Radio's Facebook page, care of Screenshot Madness, and just drop some screenshots like the way or email it to us at contact@WTFNationRadio.com, and then you could see, hey, or just say, hey, this is for Screenshot Madness and whatever. We've been getting some doozies. Some of the ones that we have had so many screenshots now lately on U.S. Army WTF Moments that we're noticing a frequency of them that, wow, we're just going to go ahead and post it. So the first screenshot we're going to talk about is the please send this out immediately screenshot. And this is the one that, effective immediately, have individuals that like to put guidance out through their squad or platoon. So it's effective immediately. The only personnel allowed to walk into the S1 are the first sergeant and training room NCOs. If a soldier needs to make updates or see the S1 for any reason, they must have a pack slip with the training room. And then Roger, and then somebody else quotes, S1 don't be open anyways. I think if Spanky was here, she'd be pissed off if they're cracking on the Swan. I just want to say, hey, Mom and Spanky, sending positive waves, by the way. But anyways, I think this is hilarious. And then they're tired of people asking for their money because they didn't get a travel voucher. Because I guess for you guys that don't know what a pack slip is, it's basically a permission slip to go see somebody, to go do customer service with you, even though it is a customer service staff member that's supposed to help you out, and then pay and all that. I think it's funny because it's now. I think the focus has been going pretty good on the staff. I guess we're attacking the staff. I mean, is that what we're doing now? Is that I don't know. Pack slips are one thing exactly. It's the hours that are the thing exactly. Pack slips are, yes. It's a little bit. I don't know. It's getting a little bit. It's getting overdue. I think if you have a reason to go handle it, and your job is to handle that stuff. And Spanky did have a good response when we talked about it last time. The S1 has to do all these soldier actions as well. So I guess, I don't know. And we were talking about the award system and all that, how it took forever to get your award. I mean, was it for you in the same way? How getting your award system squared away for you? I mean, how was it for you? Did you have any problems getting your awards?
It comes down to you keeping track of your own stuff and keeping your own bullets, and then having a good leader over you that's willing to listen to you and say, hey, I got these bullets. I think I qualify for this. What do you think?
Right.
And they agree or disagree, or they already know and they're already doing the homework for you and on your deployment. And when you get back there, by the way, hey, I put you in for this, this, and this. Like, what? But that's a good leader. I never had bad experience with a leader yet, so I
Right. No, that's understandable.
couldn't say much about that.
No,
but,
just some of the stuff that in former organizations that I have partaken in, I have been assigned to, and as well as Spanky, we were talking about it before we did the screenshot madness about the awards. There was guys and gals not getting their awards until they retired or ETS or PCS.
oh, that's just wrong.
Yeah, that's straight up wrong.
Because that affects promotions. That affects a lot of stuff.
Well, yeah, promotions, pay, BAH and BAS and all that. So, anyways, so that's the first one for the S1. So you gotta have a pack slip for this S1, and they're not even open anyways. Exactly. So everyone's talking about their hours. What? I mean, I can understand the hours. I can understand that. We used to have pay inquiries. The S1 would just drop. Well, this is back in the day. Back when we had carbon dating, the carbon paper and stuff like that. A pay inquiry was done on a form, and then the S1 took it up and just dropped it off. And then they just like went through your shit. And then the note would be, so it was like really quick. And they would be like pick it up like before the 10th or something like that you did not have these processed for the following month. Then there were some actions that just didn't happen. So it was really incumbent upon you to be aware. Don't sit there and complain about having your LES all jacked up because you didn't get COLA or you didn't get BAH or you didn't get your jump pay or whatever for specific. Anyways, this next one here. What's that?
Accountability for yourself too.
Well, that's exactly it. Some of it is a personal accountability. You have to have you're going to have accountability on what? Well, it's your freaking job to do that. You know what I mean? And so let me say that a lot of things that I have had happen as far as my pay goes, I think I caught it, I saw it, and I asked leadership, is this right? Is this legit? And then they say, as soon as they heard him say, I would do a pay inquiry, then that was my alert. That was my like, oh, I guess I better do it. When I was as I of course progressed and ranked, and I kind of knew the system a little bit better, then I knew that I would tell soldiers, hey, make sure you check your pay, blah blah blah. Especially if you like did deployments, and you had tax-free stuff, or you had payment entitlements that were like late or not kicking in. You know what I mean? So,
or you got your bonus when you were deployed. And
right. Yeah, exactly. When I got my tax-free bonus, did you get your tax-free bonus? You're supposed to get a bonus. You know what I mean? People that like don't really realize that. This next one is this one pisses me off. This one right here. I'm gonna go ahead and just read this right here. Regardless if you are on leave or not, sergeants continue to send per stats in a timely manner. Enjoy your evening and your leave. Copy that. Roger. So, if you guys know what a per stat is, it's basically daily update of where your soldiers are at, how many assigned, how many present, what's the status of if they're not present, what's their status, where are they at, what are they doing?
But wait a minute. Does that say enjoy your evening and your leave?
Bingo. There you go. You never do it on leave. I don't know why, and I would be so pissed off. I get it. There's things you can do on leave that you're just checking on. You just have to have that innate nature about you. But there's some days where I'm on leave, I don't want to do shit.
That's what leave is for. You got a permission slip to not have to count for anything unless there's like an emergency deployment.
Right.
You gotta come back. Other than that, you could give them a finger and shove it.
Exactly. No way, dude. I don't care. I knew. You're on leave. Hey, Sarns, leave them soldiers alone.
That's when you start calling your first sergeant. Yo.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Josiah, because fuck your time on leave. Exactly, no. Yeah, have your per stat on leave. Exactly. Everyone's like, what? Per stat on leave? Bingo, right? Why would you even ask? Thank you for the notifications on Twitter. Because Twitter is now a new medium. We cannot do any interactive reactions and stuff like that. If you're on Periscope, we can see the bubbles and all this stuff and the likes and all that, but we can't. We can't have instantaneous reaction to it. This doesn't do that. If you were on either of the platforms, then yeah, we would be able to do that. But anyways, I just think it's funny that someone would assume that it's okay to tell anybody on leave to say you need to update a per stat. Or you need to update, that you're on leave, man. If you are that messed up where you have to depend on your soldiers to do stuff while they're on leave, I think you got a problem. I don't even think you should be in the same job. I don't think you should just leave. Just take off them stripes.
Definitely.
Go work in the barracks. Go be a barracks NCO or something like that. Do they still have barracks NCOs? Do they have barracks NCOs? I know.
It's been a while since I've been in barracks, so I couldn't tell you.
What to say? I have been yeah, you're right. There's been I remember the last time I was in the barracks too. There was in between events that I've had that I've stayed in the barracks, and then I've stayed at military single senior NCOs BOQs. Is that what they call it? Is that what they say it? I mean, not to reveal too much about it, but yes, but of course there are more senior NCOs, and then they put you in there. Anyways, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I don't care. You're not gonna do it. Again, I can't even believe this if you put out. Sometimes we literally, and I'm gonna tell you what some of the rules on this stuff when we get snaps or we get something like that. We literally have, like I've said before, we've had accounts. We have WTF accounts to verify that it's not bullshit. Because some of these are literally, there's no way that anybody in the Army is still doing this, or it is happening. And then we go on to our different platforms that we have accounts for, and we verify that way, and we're like, holy crap, these guys and gals really are doing it. They really are saying that. Exactly that, Pookie. If a first sergeant keep track of his troops, then shouldn't be wearing the diamond. Exactly. Or Pierce Lozenge, actually what it is. That's the correct title for it. But yeah, again, this next one here, I like this one right here. This is funny. Okay, I've been retired for almost 2 years. Oh yeah, almost 2 years, right?
Wow.
Yeah. It does fly, huh? Remember when I was all retired and stuff like that? And I've yet, maybe because they know, I don't know, they may have a track not to do that. I have yet to get any chain email or chain text or a phone call or anything from USAREC or anything like that asking me if I wanted to join the Army, or ask me if I've been getting because I'm retired, I've been getting more of the, did you know that people over, over 60 and over 65 require this type of, the AARP stuff. But I've been waiting for a text message like this. This text message right here says, so as of now, three of you are my soldiers, and I'm currently making y'all's counseling packets, and I'ma need y'all's full names, please. And the other one says, go fuck yourself. My DD-214 protects me from you. Oh, fuck, man, I didn't mean to add your stupid ass. Y'all ignore this group chat, and I'll make another one. That's funny. I have so much wanted to get something like that.
Because I would have fun with it if I did.
Yeah, I'd have fun. I'd be like, really? So what you can do? Morgan the J1 has already declined and already has told the Army not to accept my release from retirement back again, so I can come back in. Because I'm just seeing so much crazy stuff now. I'm trying to come back in. I'm just kidding, but I did it one time just to kind of see if it would happen. Like, no. Could you imagine if I came back in as a, right now, as I came back in, but being already iced and being already out in public? Do you think they'd bring me back?
You would definitely wouldn't have to worry about a 6-foot rule.
I mean, like, here comes ice. Oh, that's not ice. It's Army. Yeah. Anyways, but again, I didn't mean to add your stupid ass. So again, their DD-214 protects you. This next screenshot, this was an email. This is a picture taking of an email. I guess this is a task assigned on Outlook, or somebody's remote working, and this one right here is resubmit all leave via email at blah 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 with the subject following leave name. With the format of leave, last name, and first name. If this format isn't followed, there's a high probability that it will be lost. So the S1, normally famous for losing shit, is saying this might get lost if you do not do this specific format.
When they do stuff like that, aren't they supposed to put per guidance of number 476A, B, or
no, but that's not the the problem is though, Shipwreck, is that you're just supposed to, there's no requirement, there's no Army policy, there's no Army anything to say that's supposed to say, okay, when you send something to the S1, make sure the S1 does this. So now you're going to add more work when someone's trying to send a leave packet. You know what I mean? That's the way I see it.
But what I'm saying is, if you're going to try to use, hey, it's going to be this way from now on, you better quote some type of regulation to back your ass up. If not,
right,
you better keep tracking. You know,
right, exactly. The whole thing of is that's not my job. Me as the user, you know what I mean? That's almost like when someone is in, a wait staff or something like that. And I know this is a bad comparison to a freaking S1 clerk or something like that, but the wait staff is there to relay the message. The cook is there to cook my chow. From when I place my order up until you get to your situation is not my problem. Just like this. Once my leave form has been submitted, it's not my problem. It's not up to me to do that. I'm pretty sure if you were to put, a leaf form, shipwreck, and then that's it, and then shipwrecks leave, this day to this day, and you just send it up. Is it your responsibility to change the naming convention after that? No, exactly. I don't really get the. Okay, looks like the person who said about the dude sending a screenshot is maybe having second thoughts. Hang on.
Ooh.
This is going to be good. I wonder if I know this dude. I wonder if we know this dude. Okay, disregard. Never mind. Individual.
Might be a close friend.
The individual changed their mind. Yeah. Okay. I was like, okay, whatever. Oh, thank you. Okay, appreciate it. This is funny. Okay. So the next one. This is not a test. We are under a 1 hour evac warning. Be ready to run off within 1 hour of notification. Sergeant first class, blah blah blah. And then of course is the very famous "as I was." You have 30 minutes to be packed out in front of the building. "As I was" is the most incorrect form of placing somebody at. That's why you say "as you were." The term is "as you were," not "as I was." That right there, you know what? That's almost as bad as behooven. Yeah, right. That's my. We laugh and joke around. Dude. This is like. I think we found my. Because I always laugh that Spanky when Spanky says Don's it when we say Don's it a Spanky or behoove or caveat and she just like stop saying that. There better be snacks. I noticed that we just kind of laugh it off. I'm like ha 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 whatever. No, this is it. This is it. "As I was." It's supposed to be "as you were," which is a command in drill and ceremony, which places you at the original condition or state you were in before I gave you the incorrect order. That's what "as you were" means. So you don't say "as I was." You just say "as you were." You have 30 minutes to be packed and in front of the building. God, did I just big sarge this? I think I did, man.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I was about to say I think I just big sarged this bad.
That's perfect for grammar police too.
I'm just thinking of all the drill sergeants out there. They're going, "It's not as you were." That's right, drill sergeants. That's right. I hear you. They're all agreeing with me. The drill sergeants are right there. They're all saying, "Yep, that's it. That's true." Anyways, so but to add insult to injury, that's not the screenshot drama of "as I was." That wasn't at it. The punchline is the response from a lieutenant colonel. "I have laundry."
You're joking, right?
No, it just says just nonchalant. "I have laundry." I guess the timeline's gonna have to stop. All right, Lieutenant Colonel. All right, Colonel. I guess we're just waiting on you because just to. "I have laundry." I'm sorry. That's funny. That's funny. So it wasn't "as I was." So actually, you can say that "as I was" was one, and then the "I have laundry" was the upper. There you go. I just think that's funny. As I was. Anyways, so let's see. What's the next one? The next screenshot is. Oh man, I think I just lost my place on the screenshot thing there. Oh, it's a little bit organized. There we go.
Gotta drink more coffee.
I know. Yeah, actually, I drank a lot of coffee today, and I'm on a coffee crash right now, man. I really am. I'm just thinking, oof, man. I drank a little bit of coffee earlier. You know, when I have coffee in the afternoon, because I got to keep going. We're doing projects and getting shit squared away and all that. Then I immediately just go, dude, man, what the hell's going on? Why am I so smoked? And then it's probably because you've had I drink almost like by myself. I drink like a big pot of coffee. I fill the coffee pot up. It's like almost 12 cups of coffee in that pot. And I drink the whole thing.
That's normal for a lot of us.
Right, but, well, yeah, yes and no. But it's not when I drink them and then I get another pot. And then I drink an additional 8 or 6, you know what I mean? Depend. So I had an additional pot, but it's for some reason, I guess I just got the coffee crash right now, man. It's just kind of like, yeah. Anyway,
You just need another pot. You'll be good.
Yeah, exactly. But then I'll be wired. I'll be able to see sound and stuff. Anyways, so this next one here is Tropic Lightning Week. It's coming up. We just had 25th ID coming on. Dad's alma mater, and also a friend of mine, Master Sergeant Major Piliot, came on and shoot the shit. But anyways. We have this right here is the platoon sergeant binge watches Cobra Kai and goes to work the next day and reads the Tropic Lightning Week op order. And the dude goes, "What do you mean? What combatives? Like the day of it?" He's like, "No, a week competition." Well, you're already signed up. So this NCO signed up a soldier. Already signed up for this right here. And so the soldier responds with, I didn't sign up for anything. I'm only level 1 certified. I'm gonna get my ass kicked badly. Them dudes are already probably level 3. And he's like, no. And then the platoon sergeant's like, no, you won't. You're a beast. That's what I'm talking. Exuding that confidence. We were just talking about that today, didn't we? We just talked about throwing hands.
Oh yeah,
you were talking about throwing hands, and it's I enjoy it when I mean, to me that's what I think. I think the Army and the combatives program is awesome. I mean, Joes get a little cocky sometimes, but you know, you want to have that. Well, the last time I checked, we're in the Army, right? We're supposed to throw hands. We're supposed to shoot people. If we win our rounds or we get overrun in hand-to-hand combat, you're supposed to be able to throw hands, right?
Right. The Army's not soft.
Man, the Army's not supposed to be soft. But this is crazy. This is crazy that somebody was like, no. But the first sergeant, but his platoon sergeant, no, you're a beast. Is that like a confidence course type thing? You just put somebody on the course and you can just go ahead and do that and you'll be good to go. I know the conversation that we had about it today in the shop. We were going back and forth about having combatives and what was the topic? I can't remember what it was. What were we talking about? We were talking about somebody saying some shit or just getting some hands thrown or something like that, or I can't remember.
Forgot the lead up to it, but it got fun.
It got funny. We were talking about let me see. Let me just read. This is the back and forth. I'm not going to get the names. I won't go into what it is, but I'll just say that it's just that everyone likes to portray themselves as an image that they're not really are. And then it isn't so pretty when your first sergeant, like myself, hammer strikes your face during a battalion competition. There have been soldiers and leaders that have been humbled by throwing hands. Hell, even when I was a master sergeant, before I was a first sergeant, combatives is an awesome. It's an awesome check. It's a good check on you. I'm gonna give you a little secret here. Nobody knows. Real quick, hang on. I'm gonna pull you to the side. Real quick, hang on. That I used to pair up Joes with some dickhead NCOs because I knew those Joes were gonna kick their ass. I used to do that, dude. I used to see those. I used to see those guys that were freaking just like. I felt sorry for him. No, I wasn't that. No, I was that first sergeant, or I was that NCOIC, or I was like some first sergeant. I would see those kids getting picked on by these dickheads that I know for a fact. And me and my ops NCO would be like, man, that guy would tear his ass up. That guy would fuck him up. And then my ops NCO were like, well, first sergeant, we got a combatives match on there. Oh hell yeah. Let's get some stuff in there. and it's freaking insane. It's awesome to see. And then, like I said, I've even been challenged myself. Oh, first sergeant, I'm gonna take you down. I'm like, as a first sergeant, you have to, or as an NCOIC, I was like I said, I was a master sergeant, my first sergeant, and I did a lot of combatives. It was just fun. I was a master sergeant for a long time, but anyways, it was just fun. It's just good deal. Getting freaking, that's what we're all about. Fight. Let's fight. And you get clocked. I've been clocked a couple times. Good. Unfortunately for me, I've had previous injuries that made made certain parts of my body numb. So I'd get tagged good, and then I'd get woozy a little bit. I'm like, all right, let's go. And they're like, what the hell's wrong with you, first sergeant? You're not supposed to be walking around like that. I'm like, come on, hit me again. But that's what it's all about. You're supposed to toughen up, man. You got to toughen up. But like I said, when those NCOs got their asses beat by their Joes, it humbled them really. It was awesome to see that. It was awesome also to see that soldier kind of like, I don't know, kind of lifted his spirits up a little bit. Didn't I don't know, his morale or her morale got lifted up pretty good when they beat the crap out of their supervisors. And it's sanctioned. It's sanctioned. There we go. You want to throw hands? But yeah, again, like I told you before, Shipwreck, I got tagged pretty good a couple times. And
we all have.
Yeah, it's just
point in our career.
Yeah, exactly. But well, nowadays, I'm retired now, so like I said before, the olds don't fear jail to get a point across. Oh man, not saying that I didn't lose a combatives match. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I won every fight, but the little shits had to work at it. The little nugs had to get at me. Come on, see what? Come on. But it was fun. Dean would tell you. We would. Yeah, there's some good scrappings. It's awesome. It's fun. It's fun to do that. It like I said, it gets some stress out. It gets some stress really. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe we just need to have any issues. You gotta throw hands. I was just joking around. I said on Twitter, I'm gonna have only hands. And you know how people have OnlyFans accounts where they do. I want to have only hands. I just want that's like modern day dueling. I guarantee it. Half of leadership issues in the Army would not happen if you threw hands.
So you want to bring back the old ways?
It's not the old ways. I'll be honest with you. There were some times where individuals would be of that how would I say, that would push me. I would say push me to the edge, but just kind of get at me, and I'd be like, "Hey, sir, you want to go inventory the combatives kit?" And then they'd be like, "Oh, you're joking, right, first sergeant?" And I'm sitting there with my, yeah, I'm just joking, sir." Yeah. I mean, that's everyone needs to go to inventory the combatives kit out there. I guarantee it. There's some issues you have. You get it out of your system, and that's it. Of course, sanction, of course, and you gotta have your rounds and have somebody there to make sure you don't really totally go nuts.
I bet that's more productive than trying to pull out paperwork and write someone up.
Right, yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, some of the issues. What I ended up doing is as when it came to more strenuous activities in my line of work, I said, let's go to the rope, and then we would, me and the Joes would go. Well, actually, not me. I would observe said soldier that did something that was an infraction that wouldn't require write-ups, but wanted a lesson taught, and then they would climb the rope.
Yeah, you got to have that one referee. Make sure.
Well, right, exactly. And then I get that. Well, so you do it for sergeant, and I go up there and I can do the rope myself. So I can do the same task, and they can do the same task too. But yeah, throwing hands. That's the lifeblood of the Army is to throw hands. That way because when we run out of ammo, what are you gonna do? Throw hands, right? You can learn all the grips, holds, locks, arm bars, shit, throws. You need to get your ass whooped. You need to get your ass whooped. There's some individuals you could tell there were some pent up issues with them because they wouldn't stop. I'm like, all right, you got him. No, I said you got him. Let me tap out. Goddamn, dude, chill. That's been observed as well. Sometimes you can just totally, dimension settle differences one-on-one now from then. You're damn right, dude. That's what's wrong with the world today. Exactly that. I'm just telling somebody about that. There needs to be more menning. Man. You need to be a man. Not a term of being a man. Not being a dick, just being a man. Oh, you want a duel, huh? Oh, okay. All right. You don't want to duel? They should bring dueling back. I was talking to some of my family members about that, about dueling, and how we should bring dueling back. Have it sanctioned. Have it, you know what I mean? Have it like legit sanctioned dueling. So we have now. Of course, this is pure hyperbole, and this is going to be like blown out of proportion on Twitter. But it's in WTF Nation is talking about killing somebody. No, I'm just talking about dueling and joking about it. There should be, you know, the paces, a flintlock pistol like the old days, and then that's it. You know what I mean? So you should not have a
my flint's wet. My flint's wet. Let's change it.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's just like a flintlock, and then after that round has been fired, after you've busted some caps, after you know been that round, then it's edged weapons. You could fight to let's break it down to two categories, right? You can either have to the death. That's gonna be some some real serious disrespecting to do it to the death, right? Or just a beef. Like if you have somebody has a beef, like someone shit talks you in the web. The one thing me and Spanky were talking about yesterday is that individuals, the keyboard can't save you when old people come meet you. We'll beat that ass. We don't fear jail. We don't care. But there should be two types of it. It should be like duel to the death, and then it should be beef. Like if you have a duel because of beef, you got beef with somebody, then it's rounded, and then after you could choose edged weapons if it's to the death if you run out of ammo. But other than that, it's hands for a beef, and that's it. It lasts for a few rounds, and it's sanctioned, and then the beef must be ended, and then drinking in glory, and then that's it. The beef is settled, and that's it. No more beef. You can't ever bring it up. You can't ever say, 10 years ago you did this, or 10. The beef is settled. That's how it should happen. As men, right? Women, you can beef too if you want. You can do duels as well. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, I guess. I mean, but I'm just talking about, that's what our army needs to be. Our army needs to be tough like that. Now people are going to disagree with me. People are going to fucking get some more hate mail. People are going to fucking go off and say that I'm advocating violence against each other. No, I'm just talking about it. But just going to have them hands. You got to bust them hands.
You're just keeping everyone battle ready. That's all that.
That's really what it is. You got to keep that spirit up too. That fighter spirit. That fear. Because once again, we are no longer a distance type of army when it comes to fighting. You can, of course, you have fires and artillery and stuff like that. But once you have your cop overrun, you see that movie, The Outpost? You saw the movie, The Outpost, right?
I started watching and I kind of had to walk away. But
I understand.
Yeah,
no, I got you.
I'm not part of it.
Yeah, well, they had Taliban in The Wire, right? It got that close. Yeah. You don't think that the type of fighting spirit of the American soldier, if they were throwing some hands, you want soldier to throw some hands. Throwing hands should be like the last resort the better resort to handling issues within an organization. But men should be the same way. I'm not going on a man kick here, but I'm just telling you, this dudes right now are just kind of like, eh. Some of the stuff that we get written in the inbox has been kind of how do I say this? It's been very, I don't know, flare guns at 30 feet. Oh, there we go.
Flare guns. Oh.
Fire a flare on each other. Do you think that'd be cool to see that? To see some flare guns being fired at each other? I guess I don't know. How would that?
That reminds me of Bottle Rocket Wars.
Oh yeah, see that's fun. I think a little explosives right there, right? Bottle Rocket Wars. Ooh, that'd be even better. If you have a beef, you have and then you cannot like insurance will be covered. You have to have medical treatment there on site, so that way in case something explodes or a finger pops off or something like that. Winter bias to Cletus, that's right. But yeah, it just there has to be there has to be a better way. I mean, I know we just went on a combatives kick, but it's important. I think combatives are important. We've been in organizations that it's part of the Peachy regiment. You can't get out of it. You got to do combatives. You have to throw somebody. You got to throw hands. So you have to. I would expect somebody. Sure. Well, as a soldier, as an American fighting individual, you got to throw hands.
You needed that skill set because you never know if it's going to come down to that
or
not.
Right, exactly. Far be it from I mean, I don't know. Do you think a pack clerk? Do you think a pack clerk needs to throw hands? Learn how to throw hands? You think so?
Everyone's a soldier.
Okay, all right. I'm just asking.
I don't care what your job is. You're still a rifleman at some point.
There you go.
If it comes down to it. Shit.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We have our audiences out there in Guam. How y'all doing? How are you guys and gals doing out there in the world? See who what kind. Let me look at the ping here and see what we got for the who we got here today that I can just lock in and look at and say, oh, okay, we got this many people here. But anyways, let me see who this is right quick. Hello? WTF Nation Radio, you're on the air.
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, who's this?
This is Doc Derek.
Oh, dude, man, your voice is all broken, man. You all right?
I've got a stimulator put in my throat now because of my epilepsy, and as we speak, I'm in the hospital at Duke University in North Carolina. I had my 14th shoulder surgery.
Damn, dude, how you feeling? How's your shoulder?
Oh man, it's rough, guys. It's rough.
Not bad.
They did a reverse shoulder replacement. And they cut off the side of my scapula and they anchored the ball there, and then cut off the top of my humerus and placed a cup there. So it's a reverse shoulder arthroplasty, they call it. And because I got staph at the VA in Johnson City, Tennessee, I got staph, was in the hospital for 11 weeks, and now the VA placed these antibiotic feeds in there, and Duke University placed a spacer between the two pieces of metal that's supposed to act like a cartilage, and it's full of antibiotics, and hopefully that prevents me of staph. I had the surgery on the 31st of August, and I'm being here until looks like today.
Okay,
but,
well,
I mean, I brought my laptop, I got Wi-Fi so that I can listen to you guys.
Oh well, I'm glad you're listening to us. I'm glad you're able to listen.
Well, I mean, it's a smile.
It's a what?
I'm sitting here in pain.
Oh,
I'm sitting here in pain with a shot of Dilaudid in my IV, and I mean, this puts a smile on my face. It's, still walls. But when it comes to throwing hands, I was stationed overseas in Germany at 18, and we would go downtown and throw hands with the Turks.
Oh man, no.
All the Germans tell you to go to the Turks and call them hotbox. And that's really offensive.
Exactly.
And what? Fuck you, America.
Yeah, exactly. No, I remember. Yeah, I remember one of the soldiers that I served with back in the day got his ass kicked down in downtown Wiesbaden by some, and there was some throwing hands event.
Yeah, and freed. They were notorious for carrying knives and cutting you up.
No, they'll stab you.
And I mean, it took soon to whip some of them because I mean they were crazy.
Yeah.
But I was not a kilo tanker, and unless you threw track, it was death before dismount. I mean, we didn't really do any bayonet training, in basic training. I can honestly say that I fired an M16 rifle 4 times, and that was just part of pre-deployment processing. I mean, I was a tanker. We went and did gunnery and then road march like the Hohenfels, wherever, and did our force-on-force training. So I don't really think, I mean, you got guys that go to the gym all the time. After the MWR or whoever sets up the gym, you got guys that go to the gym, and I mean, they get fucking buff. But I don't think that you have to necessarily throw hands. My old roommate, little skinny guy, but man, he could throw a sabot around in that main gun quick as a guy that's built like a brick shit house.
Well, I mean, so, is it like solving problems for somebody though? You know what I'm saying, we're talking about throwing hands to solve problems, not or having that warrior spirit come back. Do you think that nowadays that the Army could I don't know, teach everybody how to load a saber around? I guess.
Well, what if you're in a paladin? What if you're artillery but you're mechanized?
Yeah, that's true.
You're not pulled around by a 5 or a 7 ton, and you're not airdropped or anything. I mean, you're already on tank.
Right.
Why would you need to, like us tankers say, death before dismount? You can tear my track off, but I'm still in a 70-ton vehicle that you're not going to mess with.
Right.
So I think that it depends on MOS. Like an MP, he needs to know how to, grab a hold of your arm, put your ass, behind your back, lock you up, and put you on a blotter.
Yeah, exactly. So how are you feeling? Are you feeling all right, man? Everything okay?
I'm still in pain. I'm gonna be here until Saturday or Monday, man. I contracted a really bad staph infection. About lost my arm then, and like I said, this was 14th surgery. that I had on it Tuesday. And, you know, every time that they place that ball, they cut my scapula in half, so you've got marrow there. And every time they place that ball, anchor that ball to that side of the scapula, it makes it weaker because of the marrow.
Oh, okay.
And,
Well, I mean, you don't have to like make us cringe and shit. I'll just make sure you're good.
I got a stimulator that runs up to my brain because I have epilepsy from a penetrating TBI, and yeah, I felt a lot of shit wrong with my body, man. I've had over 40 surgeries, but yeah, I think it depends on your MOS. If you're an MP, you need to know how to get out there and whip ass to the billy club.
Right.
But I mean, if you're a tank or if you're on a Paladin, you know, I don't think that you need it,
right?
Unless you put up concertina wire and you're doing guard duty.
Yeah,
you know,
it goes back and forth. It's I mean the way I see it. But hey, we're gonna take a break right quick because we got our guest coming on. So I got to throw you off. Get well.
Hey,
all right, man.
Have yourself, brother.
All right, take it.
Have a good.
Yep, you too, man. Get well.
Bye.
Late. All right, so we're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna bring Haley on, and we're gonna talk about a lot of stuff. Man, this is gonna be a good interview because I already know what questions to ask and the topics. All you have to do is scan the Task and Purpose website, and you will see some of the topics we'll be probably talking about. So with that, everyone, go ahead and refill your glasses, go to the bathroom, smoke them if you got them, and we'll be right back. Shots.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Shit in the bag, Pogue.
Nothing feels the same. Let it all be
fading out, cirrus shapes I found, blow me away, Van Allen right around, pushing through, skin is brown, nature has us trapped in fear, so I get lost in sound. I wonder if you'll ever know why I am the way I am. I've been thinking a lot about time and space surrounding. Is there anyone who is thinking like me? I've been thinking a lot about life and it's never ending. Is there anyone who is thinking like me? Constellation theme, mapping stars that are meant to be. Geminis are free of suicidal kings. This misty maze of me, so obvious yet never seen. Feeling though the fog will lift to find me lost at sea. I've been thinking a lot about time and space surrounding. Is there anyone who is thinking like me? I've been thinking a lot about life and it's never ending. Is there anyone who is thinking like me? Myself and I am so lost, it's beautiful, far away from life, but I want your visceral feeling to be mine. Oh, I just don't get it. When will your heart beat with my mind? Oh, I've been thinking a lot. I've been thinking a lot about time and space surrounding. Is there anyone who is thinking like me? I've been thinking a lot about life and it's never ending. Is there anyone who is thinking like me?
I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
Oh, man. And we're back with our guest, Haley Britzky from Task and Purpose. Haley, first off, welcome for hanging out. For at least coming on. We're, like I was telling Shipwreck earlier, we're honored to have media with us.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
Give us real quick your background, your where you've been, where you're at now, your school education. Give us a real quick spiel before we get into the details.
Yeah. So I'm from Texas. Went to school at Texas Tech University out in Lubbock. Came up to DC. Started working at Axios, kind of covering politics and really just anything I could get my hands on there. And then realized I wanted to start doing national security news and covering the military. And my first choice of place I wanted to go was Task and Purpose. And I was lucky that they would just happen to be hiring an Army reporter at the time. So kind of weaseled my way in there. And I've been there for a little over a year and a half now. It'll be 2 years in January. And it has been a ton of fun getting to do stuff like this. And, you know, the Army in general is never boring. I'm never bored, which is always the goal. Right?
No, for real. For the audience here, me and Haley were talking about me and Haley are coming up on a unique anniversary. Can you go ahead and tell the audience what it is, Haley?
Yeah, so a year ago, AUSA is when you were unveiled as a WTF admin, and I got to write about it. I was in the room when it happened.
Yeah, unveiled. Make it sound like I was a new car or something like that. Introduce a new car.
Big day. That was a big day.
It was a big day. So it was October 14th at 13:35 that I stepped out and I saw you scribing and writing. And the AUSA event, I think, was that your first AUSA event?
That was my first AUSA event. Yeah, overwhelming.
I was about to say, what was your impression about the whole thing in itself, from the beginning, from the morning that it started to the reveal of the admin, to the rest of it, to the ball, the event, the displays. Yeah. Go for it. What was your thought about it?
I mean, I thought it was a blast. I'm one of those weird people who I love being overloaded with work like that. I love being busy. And I love really crowded events. So that was that was just so much fun for me. And especially to get to meet people, you know, that I hadn't maybe put faces to names with yet, that I just kind of been emailing with. And I mean, what better way to kind of get your bearing with the Army than just be thrown into like a 3-day conference where that's all it is, you know, 12-15 hours a day. But yeah, no, it was a ton of fun. Every story was exciting, and, you know, constantly learning new things and meeting new people. But yeah, the exhibit floor was really something to behold. It was. I didn't even start with that. So yeah, so I'm bummed that this year it's all virtual. It's not going to be nearly as fun.
No, it's not. I mean, I guess we can all show up with masks. They asked me last time, were we going to come back again? I'm like, yeah, we're going to come back. And then the next thing you know, the COVID drama kind of played it out and kind of messed it up. Have you seen any impacts as far as how the stories have gone up or down due to the pandemic? By the way, have you noticed any influx? Is there more dramatic stories
or just story content?
Yeah, just story content. Because I mean, this is just me. I think there has been an increase. Do you see the same thing?
I think there has, but I think it also feels that way because there's so many stories about so many things happening in the world that it kind of feels like everything is heightened. So I think it's a little bit of both, but I do think there has been, it's just been such a crazy summer and a crazy last 6 months.
Oh, I know.
I feel like I haven't really quite caught my breath.
Oh my gosh, I know. We're caught up on anything else too, I can imagine.
Yes, yeah.
So with that, let's get into the meat and potatoes. You have been covering Fort Hood, and you've covered the Vanessa Guillen case. When did you get on? When did you start reporting, or when did you start researching for the story?
Yeah, so I mean, her case in general, you know, I started paying attention to it a few days after she was reported missing, when the local media started covering it, and when CID started pushing out their, you know, press releases like "Help us find this soldier." I was kind of following it from that point, and then, as we know, it just kind of grew and grew and grew, and became this sort of all-consuming thing. And so that kind of became what I focused on the most. You know, once they found her body, and all the investigations that have kind of started since then, and we know it's, you know, not going away. You know, that story is just going to keep going. And so that's kind of become my focus over the last several months. But the story we published recently, that was just sort of a, you know, all-encompassing breakdown of what happened to her and kind of who she was. I started working on that in July. So it was a good couple of months kind of working on that, and it didn't help that, once you think you had a good understanding of the story, there'd be a new development or, more news would come out. So it was kind of constantly readjusting to fit what was happening in that moment.
Did you guys notice that it was with an internal, I mean, from what your point of view was, from what you guys could see and who's on your staff, that it was more of an Army issue specifically, an outside issue? What were your guys' take on it when you guys were writing this up?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I definitely was looking at it from the Army perspective, just what this means for the broader Army, what soldiers were saying about it, obviously what it means for Fort Hood. And then, of course, with the element of sexual harassment, I've done a lot of reporting in the past on sexual assault and harassment in the Army and in the military on a broader scale. And so that was also, that element of it. It definitely kind of took on some new life, I guess, with the story, to kind of look at Army policies, how the Army handles those kinds of things, and then kind of old criticisms that have always been there of how the military handles those kinds of cases. So it was really interesting to kind of watch how the Army was handling this, kind of sort of the communication that was coming out of Fort Hood, or lack thereof, communication. But it was interesting to kind of watch how that played out. I mean, it's such an overwhelming story, and I know it caught everyone off guard. It certainly caught Fort Hood off guard, I'm sure.
You're right, it did. You were talking about the way it was released. What is your take as a reporter on how the dissemination of the information as the story developed? What was your take on that?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I think that's where a lot of it kind of broke down. Like, the communication, it wasn't, I don't think, conveying what was actually going on in a way that was putting concerns at ease. I think that's where a lot of the criticism started coming from, was, people started looking at CID and saying, well, why isn't CID doing this? Why is it taking so long? And in reporting this big story that just recently came out, I learned that CID had been doing a lot behind the scenes. They told me, thousands of man hours and, all sorts of interviews and forensic tracking on cell phones and things. But we didn't know any of that at the time.
Right.
So it's like that. I think a lot of concerns would have been, less severe had we known, hey, here's what we're doing behind the scenes. Here's kind of where we're at. Here's how many people we have on this case. Here's how many, when we learned about it. All those kind of things didn't come out until so much later. So I think the communication is really a point of this where it could have been handled a little bit better.
Right. I know there was interesting. That wasn't interesting. It was odd and awkward to see after every development that came up on the story, the Fort Hood, the public outcry was, well, not the outcry was, hey, check out this new exercise we're doing. Hey, let's not. It was almost like it seemed a little bit like it was a deflection, if that makes any sense. Did you guys get that feeling too?
Yeah, I mean, I think the weirdest moment for me, and the moment that I really was like, okay, this is clearly not going the way it should be, was General Eflin had I think it was when they found Vanessa's body, and they were coming out, he and the 3rd Cavalry Regiment commander were coming out to essentially say that she'd been identified, and they didn't take any questions. And it was like a 10-minute, they gave prepared remarks, and it was just dead silent, and they turned around and walked away, and the cameras kind of followed them walking. And it was so strange to me. That's a story this big that's been garnering this much attention and such a huge revelation like this, and then they don't take questions. And that was kind of a moment where I was like, okay, I don't know if that was the best idea, for how they would want to handle something like that.
Now, did you, did you do any outreach to the public affairs office to get any information from them as task and purpose?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, frequently. And they have an interesting system kind of where you put in your question, like on their website, like in a forum that you fill out, versus other installations kind of have like their email on the website, like kind of here's our media relations email, or like here's our phone number, and Fort Hood has a little forum you fill out instead. But yeah, no, I reached out to them several times. There are several emails went by without any response, but then it started picking up again, and they were pretty responsive to some of the other inquiries I was sending in.
They did they? You were talking about CID and all that. Did anybody from CID give you any assistance or help you to at least say, "Hey, look, we're trying to do this. We're not getting represented correctly. This is bullshit." Did anybody throw any of that? Any of you throw a flag out like that?
Not in so many words. I went to CID when I was writing this big story and essentially said, hey, I'm writing this story. This is a huge complaint that people have had, which I'm sure they saw, was that they hadn't done enough or hadn't acted quickly enough. So I just said, listen, I mean, I'd like to be able to tell the full story with all the details. And if that includes more information about what you were doing during the investigation, I'd appreciate anything you could provide.
Right.
And their spokesperson was kind of able to, that's when I learned all the details of how many, all the hours and interviews and et cetera, that they'd done. But it's kind of a shame that it took until that moment to learn those details that I think would have been better served had they been released earlier.
Now, did at any time, did they provide any information that there was also no connection to any other of the missing soldiers or any other of the soldier deaths that were on there? That it was almost like this has something to do with Vanessa. Did they give you any reassurances like that was the case? That was any connection at all, or not a connection?
Like with some of the other cases that were going on.
Correct. They had because you had Gregory Morales in his situation. So I was just curious. Did they throw, hey, look, this is not connected, but here's the status of that?
Yeah. No, they did, and they didn't say necessarily, not connected to Vanessa. It was just, we at this time not believed to be connected to any other cases at Fort Hood or things like that.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I'm sure they knew where the mind was going to go. When you see something like this, and it was happening, I mean, it was kind of bizarre the way it was just like one after the other.
Yeah, since like last August, it was. I mean, I kind of went on a rant about a couple weeks back saying that Fort Hood has lost more soldiers than Afghanistan this year.
Yeah, it really. I mean, any one of those. I mean, Gregory Morales's, Vanessa's case, and then Sergeant Elder Fernandez.
Yeah.
I mean, any one of those cases would have been big on their own. But then all three kind of combining over, this TikTok over like 2 months, at the same installation. I mean, it was kind of overwhelming to watch that play out.
Now that we talked about them, well, that's been brought up. Lawmakers have now decided to visit Fort Hood and do their. What was their? I mean, you knew about there's what investigations are happening, because we're hearing there was a military investigation, there's another military investigation, and then there's a congressional investigation. Is that correct?
Right. Oh, yeah. So right now they have the commander's investigation that the 3rd Cavalry Regiment commander launched into the sexual harassment allegations. That was announced like back in June, and the last I heard it was still ongoing. Then you have the panel review that the secretary announced that was being carried out by a team of civilian consultants that they got to Fort Hood at the end of August. They're already gone. It was a 2-week review. And we'll probably find the results of that out later this fall. Then you have just beginning of this month, the secretary announced that General Murray from Futures Command down in Austin was going to be coming up to Fort Hood and conducting his own commander's investigation into basically the entire chain of command of every level, kind of seeing what they were doing and when they were doing it. And then we have the congressional investigation that was announced earlier this month as well. There's the Government Accountability Office review that was accepted, a request from Senator Tammy Duckworth. Yeah, I mean, it's
so there's like 5 now. Just
it's pretty.
It's insane. Yeah. So one of it right now that there was just recently one, and that was the one that you guys posted 9 hours ago from Cody Shepard on your site. Mm-hmm. Can you give us an update of what they discovered so far?
Right. So a congressional delegation went down basically just to kind of poke around and hear from people and talk to soldiers and their families, and I'm sure chain of command as well. And they left with a very bleak impression of the installation and kind of how soldiers are being taken care of there. And so we're certainly going to hear more about that. I mean, that only fueled more the, congressional push to get this I Am Vanessa Guillen bill through. So yeah, I mean, that was several lawmakers who went down and all kind of left saying they felt either worse about the situation, they had more questions, they were disturbed by what they saw. I mean, it did not go very well for Fort Hood.
Did it have was there kind of like, as they were there, did they look at like facilities? Did they look at, because I know Fort Hood was brought up in the news about their housing issue. We had a surprise guest come on a couple of weeks ago that testified before Congress about mold and housing and government contracted housing. Did they add that in their look, or they just focused specifically on sexual assault, command climate? Was the main focus there, or that anything else?
No, they did. I know they went to the barracks because one of the lawmakers was horrified by what he saw in the barracks, and then they did visit some housing. I mean, it was sort of like an overarching, what is life like at Fort Hood? What is happening at Fort Hood? So they kind of poked around on lots of different areas to see what was going on, and at least I didn't get the impression that they felt good about any of it. So well, I'm sure that's not going to be the last delegation we see go down there. I would expect something else to happen.
I was about to say that sounds like a little bit more. I mean, when you were reading some of this stuff, what was your take on it? Were you thinking? I mean, because when me and Spanky were talking about this, we were kind of like thinking, is it like a traveled? Is it the installation? Is it the leadership style that's being transported from somewhere? Is it being imported? What was your take on some of that? Was there anything exterior that you could tell, or was it just the post? I mean, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I'm not former military myself, so while reporting this, of course, wanted to hear from people who were there, who would be able to tell me firsthand what it was like. I heard several of those things, that it was the command that was there, that it was just how many people are on post, that it was had to do with Killeen, because Killeen has its own issues. It seems like it's just sort of the perfect storm, for lack of better words, of just all of these problems combining into one place. And I don't know. I don't know how you can fix that. I don't know if it's, is it more training? Is it more oversight? Is it a different command? I mean, from what I've heard, this, people that I interviewed, this has been going on for years. This reputation has been in Fort Hood for years and years. Clearly the same people have not stayed at Fort Hood, Fort Hood command for all those years. So it's kind of like, okay, well then what can be changed that isn't already regularly changed? To actually make a difference, and I'm not really sure what the answer to that is.
Yeah, I was just curious because it just seemed like it was one of those. I mean, me and Spanky talked about it. I was stationed at Fort Hood back in the early '90s, and it was. I don't ever remember it being like that. I don't ever remember it. I remember it being a big post. I remember being a big army to army post. You know what I mean? If that was any post to go do army stuff, would be Fort Hood. Being that it's got a large population, 348 square miles of training area, it's just a big post to go do army stuff. And and it never really occurred to me, or I was just thinking, there's no way that it has to be imported or exported, or is it maybe it's the I was just curious. Do you think that there was also some crazy reports about it, that there was anything that was like, I mean, I don't want to say it to make it sound like it's a conspiracy theory. Were there any exterior factors? I don't want to name them because I don't want nobody to carry this on and think, oh, we're doing conspiracy theories, that you can tell from an outside organization or affiliated organization that could have been involved in this too.
I know what you're saying.
Because I don't want to say, because that's a road that you don't want to go down when you start hitting names, and then people, you know what I mean? Because then then the next thing you know, it's all over the place. Yeah. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, I didn't get the impression that was a main player in this. There were a lot of outside factors, at least not in Vanessa's case.
Gotcha.
But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think there's still so much we don't know yet. That we're and also we have to remember that, I mean, the main suspect is now dead, and so it's like, well, how much will we really be able to find out about? That's kind of what I think about sometimes. And so I will say I'm don't count that out. I don't count out, exterior factors in all the cases at Fort Hood. I'm sure there are instances of that. I don't get the impression that that was the case here. But I mean, who knows what could come out in 2 weeks, and I'll have to call in again. And
right.
I was wrong. And
I know one of the issues was and you just talked about it, how the suspect is now dead. The fact that suspect is also was allowed to leave or escaped or what? You know some details about that?
Yeah, so that's another one of those things that I think that Fort Hood maybe should have shared some information about that earlier, just because it got so much criticism. But yeah, so he was apparently confined the same night that they had this confession from the woman who's now being charged, conspiracy to tamper with evidence,
right,
and that stuff. And so the same night that she was giving investigators allegedly, this evidence, he was confined to his barracks, and it's, they say absconded Fort Hood from in the court documents, and he somehow got a car. Not sure how that happened. He had a firearm, also not sure how that happened, and investigators aren't really giving any details about that other than that happened. And yeah, I mean, that's a big question that I think everyone's kind of waiting to hear an answer to. Of he hadn't been charged with anything. He wasn't under arrest at that point when they confined him. And so I'm not really sure what exactly happened there to allow him to get off post, and, a chase ensued. And so I'm not really sure what happened there. I'm hoping that that's one of the things we get more clarity on as these investigations kind of continue on.
Right. I know there was we were kicking around the probability of having some additional assistance if he was able to get a car, if he was able to get a gun, if he was, there were just so many other external factors. And one of the things was he had access to the phone, and it goes back to our media stuff, the media question. I think that the media and because we are media now. I mean, I can say we're media now. But we're media. But do you think we or the local media there had a little bit of responsibility for him being tipped off on it, and it was because he was not he didn't have his phone taken away? You know what I mean? Like, he was an observation.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I've thought about that since I saw that bit of news come out, and I don't know. I haven't really made up my mind on that yet, because this was such a big case. There was no way that a huge development like that wasn't going to get reported, especially when you have her family, who was speaking to the media very regularly, and sort of wanting answers, and we're going to the media to get answers. But then, her family's attorney was very vocal as well. And so I don't know in what scenario that wouldn't have happened, that the media didn't report that. I'm not really sure. I have some questions about, why did he have his phone or access to his phone and was able to see those reports and things like that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think there's a conversation that could definitely be had about that. My mind isn't totally made up on that fact, I guess, yet.
Yeah.
What
do
you think?
Yeah, well, I would say my mentality, yeah, the way you've heard us, and you've heard us BSing online and stuff like that. I kind of say, yeah, we do. I mean, in a way we did, in a way we didn't. The media did have some responsibility to not talk about they found her. I think the external media, I think there were so many external factors with the individual bloggers and vloggers. There was the individual that found the remains, and when we were watching it in real time, myself and our, we have a public affairs person too, and we have, on the main page and on the radio, we were like, why is this guy speaking and saying, yeah, we found her, that old guy that was who's part of the search,
right. The
civilian search group. Why were they allowed to even, like, there was nobody giving them any tips, like, hey, if you find something, shut your hole, call the authorities, and we'll tape it off, and then we'll go from there. You know what I mean? It almost seemed like it was, dude, shut up.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you haven't positively identified they hadn't. I mean, I don't know what exactly they saw when they came upon that, so it may have been very obvious, but we know it took a couple of days for the Army to say we did positively identify those remains as Vanessa Guillen, and especially when you look at that was the second time they'd come upon remains in that search, and the first time it wasn't her, and it was kind of assumed to be that, and then it wasn't. So then that with that added factor playing into it, I see what you mean now. I see what you're saying. Yeah,
it was frustrating. I was like, dude, shut up. If you don't, that's one of the. I mean, that's one thing I've learned from my public affairs / media colleagues such as yourselves. You got to verify, triple source, double source. And it's frustrating. You and your gut as a reporter are saying, "Oh yeah, this is it," but you can't come out and say it. But you got to tell somebody to shut. Literally, I mean, I was bound by WTF protocol not to. We can't interfere in something like that, because then we would be culpable for some of the information that could be misconstrued as well. It was frustrating for us. Did it all? I mean, after all up until this point now. Is there a bigger picture on a whole larger problem? I mean, I'm just me, but I see it as a larger problem with the way the sexual assault and reporting procedures for the military in itself are. What you were talking about earlier about the I Am Vanessa Guillen Act, what is that? Can you give us a little bit of explanation about what a little bit that is?
Sure. Yeah. So it's a bill that her family has been working on getting before Congress, and I believe Speaker of the House Pelosi said that it was going to be voted on the House floor. But essentially, what it does is changes the reporting process for sexual assault, kind of gives it to an independent party, so that they're not reporting to the chain of command, and then also makes sexual harassment a criminal punishment under UCMJ. Whereas right now it's not viewed in a criminal manner in the way that sexual assault is.
Correct.
And so it just kind of handles some of those things. And we know that those kinds of issues are things people have been fighting to get done for years and years, and it hasn't happened yet. So this is just essentially another push to get it done, which, for very good reason, is getting a lot more attention now. I guess after that argument it's been around for so long, and it's kind of been there, and now it's kind of new breath to that fight.
Did you see it more? It was pretty bipartisan on this bill then, right? It wasn't like it's any pushback on this. Everyone was pretty supportive from what you've seen.
I'm not really sure outside of the House what kind of reception it's getting. I mean, this is, again, we've seen bills come before that, years ago, that were trying to kind of get the sexual assault and harassment out of the chain of command, and it never went through. And so I think it's not going to be an easy, it's going to be kind of an uphill battle there. I know the Army Secretary has been very careful to not say one way or the other when he's asked. He's kind of like, we'll see, we'll look at it and kind of see what it says. And so I'm really not sure which way this is going to go. I'll be surprised if it's, a very simple process. I'm imagining it's going to be a bit of a fight with some people, just for the chain of command argument, which has been around for a while.
Well, it's been around forever because there's individuals that don't take it. Just me. I just don't think they don't take it too seriously. And the immediate uproar is that, the rights of the accused have to have rights. Blah 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 blah. We want to protect ourselves against false accusation. Usually, when I hear somebody say stuff like that, I'm kind of like, okay, yeah, I can see you're not really taking. We have not even talked about any of that stuff. We're talking about the actual, processing of it. I just don't like it when, and it's just me personally, when someone drops that, well, you're in case of false accusations or in case of this or. And I'm thinking, dude, you're not even looking at what the process was. I mean, there was some objective eyes on it. I don't see why.
Yeah, and honestly, false reporting, we know that argument kind of makes it sound like it happens all the time, and it doesn't. It's not nearly as frequent as the argument makes it sound like it is.
No. The statistics actually do not prove that it's a frequent event. You know, I mean, I'm not saying we're not saying it doesn't happen. We're just saying that the statistics side of it doesn't. And there's also usually a bunch of other circumstances in between that for it to be considered a false accusation.
Right. And we also have to look at, you know, just because an investigation comes back saying it was unfounded doesn't mean it was a false accusation, or, you know, so there's a lot of nuances.
Yeah, you're right, because then the evidence could not have supported a charge, or there was not enough to consider it a founded event. Yeah, I think that needs to be explained to sometimes to individuals on how that works, because I don't even think. I mean, I don't even know. I mean, I was, like I said, I was in for a long time. I've been a first sergeant, and, you know, done all that stuff and all that. And I've yet to. No one has actually sat down and given me the whole process. And Spanky's is EO qualified. She's done the EO stuff, and so I can't wrap my head around some of the explanations that she has just on the way the processes work. And I'm just like, how do you find out? Because then someone is innocent on it, and then in the realm of the military, then your reputation's kind of wrecked. You know what I mean? Or if it's founded, then of course, then it being in the UCMJ, you damn right it needs to be in the UCMJ.
Yeah, no, it's a really complicated process that it took me a little while to kind of really understand what the reporting looked like, and then there's just so many steps, and I think it's one of those things that you may not really understand what it is until you need to, which, you know, hopefully, you know, we would hope no one would ever need to really understand how to report something like that.
Right.
But I think it is one of those things that people may not really take seriously, because it's like, oh, well, I'm never going to have to do that, or I don't need to do that. And then you don't really have an understanding of what the process is and what it looks like or what it should look like. And so you don't know when something's going wrong. You don't really know, because you don't know what it's supposed to be. So yeah, I mean, it is a kind of a web of a process for sure.
Yeah, it's a pain in the butt, actually. It's a pain in the butt is when what's a pain in the butt is when you get a result back that's not. They want you to do more things, and something as nuanced as that on an act. Mm-hmm. It's hard to. It's almost like we don't have a checklist for it. We don't have nothing that's defined as either sexual assault or sexual harassment. Does it fall into both sides? And it's frustrating because that nuance right there, like you were saying. Now, her or the family spokesperson, is it still Natalie Quam?
Yes. Yeah.
Has she assisted you guys as well in this, or was this all your endeavor where you guys been working?
No, her and I have talked, and she helped connect me with Vanessa's sister to talk to her for this story. You know, and she's, as we know, has been really you know, talking to the media quite a lot as this was coming out.
Right.
Yeah.
Big time. Now with her sister, you've spoken to her Vanessa's sister. How's man, my heart goes out to her family. How is she handling her discussion with you in this, or the, you know what I mean? I don't even know how to answer. I don't even know how to ask this question.
Yeah.
What's her demeanor to you so far since you've spoken to her?
Yeah. So that's. I was asked that just the other day by somebody else. She's devastated, heartbroken, as can be expected, and just angry and upset with the way that this played out. You know, and she is hoping to see some change, you know, with this bill, and then just change with the military and how the military kind of operates, I guess. She told me that she'd considered joining the Army because Vanessa seemed to be enjoying it so much, you know, and Vanessa was her big sister. She wanted to do what Vanessa was doing. And so she had thought, maybe I'll, you know, join the Army someday, especially being, you know, they're from Houston. Vanessa was stationed at Fort Hood. I mean, that's, you know, how great to be able to live out what you want to do and join the Army, and then be also so close to home and be able to see family so often. Right. And so, but, you know, now it's kind of one of those things where she's torn, because, you know, she told me I'm thinking about still joining because I want to, you know, kind of carry out Vanessa's legacy, but she's also scared that things aren't going to change. And, you know, when you see something like that happen to someone so close to you, it's kind of hard to shake that. Like, what if it could happen to me or, you know, someone else if I get in? So yeah, I mean, it was a really difficult conversation to talk with her about this, but it was also really wonderful to kind of hear more about Vanessa from her and kind of who she was outside of the Army, you know, the sister, the friend. Having those additional details really paints the picture of just what kind of person she was. And from what her sister told me, she was just really lovely. So it was really an honor to kind of get those details from her and learn more about Vanessa.
That's so sad. Only because I have a daughter too. You know, my daughter just turned 26, so it's if she one time wanted to join the military, she decided to take another path. But I just think about, and I have a younger daughter, so I just think about stuff like that. I'm just like, God, man, it just, you're right, it's heartbreaking. Now, so up to now, then there's up to 5 investigations going on at Fort Hood, and has anybody released anything so far? Is there an interim report going to be released? Any updates on that, and when any reports are supposed to be released?
Yeah, so there's supposed to be an interim report delivered to Army leaders. They said mid-September. I'm sure that it's already gotten to them or will get to them probably the next few days. And then that's from that civilian panel who's down there, or who has already left, who was down there. And then their final report is due by October 31st. It seems, I've gotten the impression they're expecting it sooner than that. But, you know, they have to also put in their recommendations for what they think should happen and all of that. And then Army leaders are going to be going over that. So I'm not totally sure when we the people, will kind of get an idea of what that report says. I know I am regularly pinging my sources, kind of being like, hey, when is that going to be ready? What are we looking at? What are we thinking? So I will let you know as soon as I know something.
Yeah, because I mean, normally when things like that are being kicked off, you will get. I mean, we do get a you know, hey, what's the what's the interim report? We know because you know how the access we have as well. We'll usually find out any sneak peeks or something like that. So yeah, we'll definitely keep in touch with you on that one too, because I'm just curious to see what the findings are so far. I know they're not going to be good. I mean, I know on the Army side there's going to be people destroyed. I mean, of course, I hope individuals are destroyed on some of this. I don't know why I could wish ill will on people, but I mean, I hope there's somebody held accountable. How that I gotta learn my speak on how to speak media guy right. So.
Yeah, no, it seems like something, just because of the public outcry over this, like somebody's gonna take the fall for this. Like, they have to kind of put a face to the, you know, I think just it seems that way anyway. That like the public wants to see someone to blame, essentially. But I don't know what the Army will find. I don't know if maybe you have a better idea of kind of how some of this goes, because I've been hearing from, you know, some sources who were like, well, don't expect too much, you know, to come from this, because it may just be one of those things where they say, well, the processes we have in place are good, but they weren't being followed as well.
Yeah.
Like,
when it comes to something like that, there'll probably be, you know, when it's all said and done, if it has to do with leadership accountability, then it'll probably be, it would probably be a promotion being removed, a letter of reprimand, or a relief. There's a lot of those facts that you can hurt somebody in the Army in the long run for that, and they'll definitely feel the sting of that. But I don't know if there's anything it's going to go further down to like the NCO level, because there had to have been more individuals that knew what was going on. There had to have been.
Yeah, and that's kind of what General Murray is trying to find out, I think, because it's not just, you know, there have been these other investigations of command climate at the installation level, you know, with General Effluent, and kind of seeing what that was looking like. But then General Murray's investigation, I think, is going much deeper down, you know, to those lower echelon commanders, and saying, well, what did they know? What were they doing during this investigation? And yeah, I'm not sure how deep down it's going to go, but I mean, we know that General Effluent is now not going over to Fort Bliss like he was supposed to.
Right.
Army leaders have been pretty adamant about saying, you know, no, that's totally normal. Doesn't mean anything for his career. I know that my sources have, told me, yeah, it's not, doesn't look good.
There is generally, no pun intended on the general rank. There is generally, it's not a good sign when your movement to go take an assignment is stopped. Now it is not announced as well. It will normally happen, and this is just from what I've seen, is in a case if there's a specific flagging action that happens, or there's something that happens with some specific processes, then yeah. But generally, if someone's stopped like in their tracks and then someone has been moved ahead of you before that, you're right. It's not a good sign. It is not a good sign. That's just from my experiences, from what I've seen. That yeah, it's not going to go good. But that's just, like I said, that's from what I've seen.
It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out and kind of what the investigations come back with. I hope that it comes back with something, substantial, if even just to kind of give the family some sense of closure that something is being done, or we found what went, where things went wrong. But I don't know. I'm not sure how that's gonna actually end up. So.
Well, I want to know what's at the junior level, because our main audience, we're generally in the mid 20s to early mid 30s demographic, and that's from our fans. We see in the inbox just how how soldiers talk. You know what I mean? There has to have been something more a little bit more broad with the individual as well. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it just cannot have been just to another guy, and then generals know. You know what I mean? There's no way. There had to have been something in between. That's just me.
Right. No, I'm sure you're right. I mean, and that's the thing is, like, we don't hear from those people, this in the same way that the general has to come forward and talk to the media. The NCOs aren't going to be the ones coming in, telling us what they knew and when they knew it. So, it'll be interesting to see kind of what comes out of that and how they pinpoint what happened. I mean, and all of this kind of coming at the same time as the Army's, pushing the people strategy and this is my squad.
Oh my gosh, yes, I know. Yeah. The timing, the people strategy. We were going to have Lieutenant General Simons come on from the Army G1 to talk about the Army people strategy, but his calendar got this is way before any of this stuff happened, but his just calendar just got really booked, and he didn't come on. But I just think it's almost like there was because we saw the traffic on Twitter when we were kind of going back and forth not going back and forth, but looking at it. Hey, look at this. Hey, look at that. On the reading the room, there's like a media. I guess you would say a media campaign for the Army right now to read the room. It's not a good idea to post Smile Day when there's a big drama going on. It's not a good idea to, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's really. We could talk for a whole nother hour.
I was about to say that's another subject. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, okay. So I mean, we'll of course, fans, we'll keep you guys informed. I'm pretty sure it'll be us working with Task and Purpose, or Task and Purpose will give us the drop on it. But we'll keep you guys posted. This next one is this next story that you guys are rocking is the Alwyn Cash. I've me and Spanky have thrown the awareness campaign left and right. Initially, when it came to renaming installations, earlier this year we were talking about the possibility of renaming Confederate bases to heroes, and we've been pushing Fort Benning to be named Alwyn Cash forever.
Yeah, I've seen your tweets. I mean, if there ever was a hero,
right,
that should have
honors. Right. So right now there's been an update. Can you tell us a little bit about update on his status from his Silver Star upgrade?
Sure. Yeah. So lawmakers in the House of Representatives earlier this week unanimously passed legislation that would allow the president to sort of set aside that time limit on the Medal of Honor and upgrade Sergeant First Class Alwyn Cash's Silver Star to the Medal of Honor. And it's moving on to the Senate now. I have personally not seen anyone in the Senate saying they were going to oppose this. It's not to say someone won't. I personally can't imagine a situation where that happens.
Right.
Seems like one of those things that, bipartisan through and through, should smooth pretty sailly
should sail pretty smoothly to the president.
Should smooth pretty saily. I'm gonna have to remember that one. You just invented a new sergeant's time word there. We're gonna smooth pretty saily.
Oh Lord. I'm gonna get that in my email inbox later, probably. Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine the president not getting this and signing off on it. So it was a big step forward, and it was really encouraging. I'm sure to his family and to everyone who's been pushing for this.
Oh my gosh, I know. Some of the big, I guess you would say the big deets was that this was bipartisan. This was an effort between Republicans and Democrats to get this. And I just can't believe that it also should. I mean, no, it should. It has. I mean, we have to look at the Army, the military's award system. I just find it frustrating. I mean, we were talking about it. I've had some friends, join in the chats a couple weeks back, talking about how their units have had awards sit forever already to get an award for like somebody leaving the Army or retiring from the Army. There has to be this has to be something that's going to open up another. I mean, hell, GAO, you're already on Fort Hood. Let's go on to Alwyn Cash.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine it does, because this is getting so much attention, and it is one of those things that I think when people hear about it, it's like, well, what happened? Why?
Right.
Why? I mean, this was first submitted, in 2011? I mean, it's been almost 10 years now, and it's like,
right,
why is this just now?
Exactly. And he was killed in 2005. It was a Silver Star, and then it just like, okay, yeah, everybody knows. I mean, the stories from some of the veterans that were there that witnessed it, I was in tears hearing what was
Can't even imagine.
Seeing it firsthand, watching and it took me aback. I just could not believe that individuals at the time thought that was Silver Star worthy, when individuals who've had Silver Stars had done less, or had done something that for a fact. And it just,
I mean, it's amazing. That's one of those things that I learned, when I started this job. I honestly wasn't really aware of the entire push to get him the Medal of Honor until I got and started covering the Army. And that was my first reaction when I read it. I mean, it's astonishing to read what he did.
Yes.
And then to know that it's just kind of been languishing to get it seems like such a no-brainer.
Or the oh well, I mean, that just happens. No, idiot, it just doesn't happen.
It shouldn't. We could have a whole other conversation about things in the Army that just happened.
Oh my gosh, I know. Like, we're really, because right now we're talking about PT belts that was canceled out by the former Secretary of the Army, and that's coming back. I mean, we're talking PT belts are coming back. We're like, wait a minute, we were supposed to have gotten rid of them. Do we know anything else of where it's at? Do you know when it's going to hit the president's desk at the moment?
I'm not sure. No, I mean, I'm sure someone else has better details than me at this point. But I'm just sure we'll end up with the Senate soon. Not like the Senate doesn't have a lot of other things going on. So hopefully this is one of those things they can kind of get behind and get going, and yeah.
Yeah, we're talking. You must be talking about SCOTUS and stuff that does not have to do anything with sergeant's time, right?
I wasn't gonna say.
Well, I mean, my biggest thing was the what brought it even more into the mainstream, I guess you would say, was when Alejandro Villanueva from the Pittsburgh Steelers walked out with his helmet marked Alwyn Cash, and immediately, I mean, the WTF Nation has been throwing that campaign for a while for him, a long time, but it's this right here just scraped the surface, and you have individuals that are just like sharing that. I'm just like, man, this momentum is going. Something's got to change. And then just recently, when that bill passed, I was like, thank God, this is awesome.
Yeah. No, I know y'all have been really pushing on that too, and then the campaign I've been seeing on Twitter with the his name is Alwyn Cash.
Correct. Yep.
And I've been seeing more and more people just kind of coming up in all the verticals that I watch, from media Twitter, and it really seems like it's like now's the strike while the iron's hot. Like now's the time everybody's kind of watching and paying attention on this. So I'm hoping it can get resolved pretty quickly and get wrapped up. And the way we all want it to.
Right. I think it will. I mean, it would be so. I know we're all gonna probably cover this like crazy when his son is awarded. They give presented his father's medal. That's going to be. We're all going to be. We're all going to be choked. I'll admit it. I'm going to be choking up like a freaking little kid, crying like a toddler when I see that.
Yeah, it's going to be a big moment.
But so anything else that you have on that's coming down the pipe that you can give us kind of like a sneak peek about that you're working on?
Oh man. Well, right now, today I was making my schedule for AUSA. I love a good color-coded spreadsheet for all of my.
I didn't register. I'm kind of like, if you need to Zoom me, just let me know.
Yeah, we'll do. No, I mean, I have a few stories that I'm hoping to get in on. There's working on that Vanessa Guillen story. Things kind of started stacking up in my inbox. So. I guess if now's the time, if any listeners have any stories that they think I should be looking at, I'm all ears. So now's come smooth sailing into my
right. Because definitely they can hit you up on Twitters, and they can hit you up on of course the Task and Purpose website, and of course the Task and Purpose Twitter. So far, a year and a half. Are you loving it so far?
I really do. I love covering the Army. I love covering the military. It is such a really fun and really rewarding job. And it's a ton of fun. It's so goofy sometimes, some of the things people do, and the way people, get their kicks when they're bored, never leaves me bored. So.
You like the memes. Come on. You love the memes. Come on, commit it. You love the memes.
Oh, your memes. When I say that the worst thing that happens to me is 9:00 in the morning when my editor messages me, "Have you seen the What the Fuck Moments post?" And I'm just like, please let me have my coffee first. Please give me a moment. No, it's a ton of fun though, and I'm gonna plan to be doing this for as long as they let me. So.
Rock on. Hey, Haley, well, we appreciate you coming on. And again, thank you so much. Tell Paul we appreciate him letting you come out and hang out with us and, give us an update on what's going on.
I will. Yeah. Thank you. This was a ton of fun. We'll have to do it again sometime.
No, for sure. All right. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break while me and Haley cover some admin stuff in the green room. So everyone stand by, refill your glasses, go get some shots, and we'll be right back. Stand by.
Sanctuary I
Wear a condom. We're in Fayetteville. No one gets STDs here.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shouts.
And we're back. Broadcasting live. Hit a bass, son. There we go. Oh, man. Great guest. Thank you so much, Haley, for coming on. And allowing task and purpose, of course. Thank you, allowing her to come on as well. God, man. Anyways, man, dude, that was a good interview, bro. What'd you think?
No, I thought it was a very good interview. Well educated on the stuff going on at Fort Hood.
Dude, I mean, isn't that crazy? We got a lot of, man, I guarantee it. Some of the stuff that's happening on Fort Hood, man, I just like, oh, dude, just like, hey, whoever called, yeah, there's only a few exceptions that I have anybody calling during an interview. If you're part of the WTF Nation staff, meaning radio or and of the main page, or if you are another guest, I'm normally, unless I'm taking questions, then that's not a time for you to call. You know who you are. Don't do it. It disrespects the guest too, because then the guest doesn't know that there's going to be a second set of questions being thrown at that person, or a commentary on that, because then they're discuss what they're discussing. There we go. Easy enough, right? Simple. Cool. Oh wait, so glass has been refilled. Marty's already said that the glass has been refilled, and I guess the tusk and purpose. I'm looking at other stuff. Purposes. I've had an adult beverage to calm down from my coffee, scene sound event. Dolphins are up 21-7 versus the Jags, and the Mets won. Mets suck, Knicks suck, Yankees suck. Yeah, there you go. Don't let Flashies know that I said that. He's gonna get mad that I'm making fun of his Yankees. Anyways, what's next? Oh yeah, hey, real quick, did you hear about the Air Force? Only the Air Force. Did you hear about the Air Force there, shipwreck, Mr. Freaking? You know about the Air Force stuff. Did you not hear about this? About what's going on? Is your mic even on? Are you even here? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm here, man. I'm here. I think they're starting their own tattoo shop.
That's what I'm talking about. Instead of having to go to the barracks, instead of having to go, hey, I know a guy, in case you want some ragwurts, you can now do it. You can now go on an Air Force installation on having your own freaking tattoo shop. That's what I'm talking about. Getting a tattoo has been a rite of passage, of course. For all military personnel, it has a ritualized, often scalp gouging buzz cut at boot camp. However, barbershops have been a mainstay on bases around the globe. And now, guess what? Just like that, Nellis Air Force Base is located. What better freaking installation to have it? Nellis, man. Nellis. That's what I'm talking about.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
I was about ready to say, I'm surprised I don't have a little chapel there to get married. We're always eating from the front, finding new ways to improve the quality of our life of our airmen. Team Nellis is now home to the first tattoo studio in an Army or Air Force installation. Studios open from Monday through Sunday, 10:30 to 6 p.m. on the Nellis Air Force Base Facebook page. Quoteth. That's what I'm talking about. Airmen, could you imagine though? I mean, the Air Force had a pretty restricted tattoo policy back in the day. Now, so
DOD had the same type of policy too?
No, man. The Air Force is because of the Air Force. Y'all think you're hard. I'm just kidding. No, you really do. You have some badass defects, but I'm not gonna fuck with your commando. Airmen were previously not allowed to have tattoos on the chest, back, arms, and legs that were larger than 25% or exposed body parts, the Air Force Time previously reported. And now they can have full tattoo sleeves on their arms and large back pieces if they choose. While a move that gave the go-ahead to personnel like Nellis-based airmen to finally get that full back piece of an A-10 Warthog. Personnel will still need to drive the 12 miles to the Vegas Strip to get it done. Wait, what? Wait. It's that's what I'm saying. So now they have to do it. So the decision to open a tattoo parlor on base was the brainchild of 99 Force. It was no brainchild. Trust me. There are plenty of installations back in the day that had underground speakeasy bars and tattoo parlors that was already there. So it wasn't like anybody. See, now I'm upset. Now they're making it sound like they're the forefront of it, but I guess you could say they're the forefront for it being a legal one. I guess. You could do. Did the Raiders beat the Saints though? Alien tattoos, yeah, exactly. Did they just do kittens and flowers or other stuff? I don't know, man. It's Area 51 joints right there when it comes to the Air Force. It's Area 51. It's Nellis. What individuals would be there to get a tattoo, anyways? You know what I mean? Would they? Would you? What is? Yeah. What is? I'm about to see. I was about to Nellis with aliens, Area 51. I wouldn't be surprised. Ooh, you know what? If some kid gets who works on Area 51, I would not be surprised if they put something that's in alien language on their body that they've seen. You know, like a symbol or something like that they've seen on Area 51. I just said it. Of course, trademark it. We just said it right now in the year of the year of the dumpster fire. The 24th of September, 2020.
Now, some airman's going to use your thigh and be cool.
Hey, that WTF Moments page to put that alien stuff on there. No, actually, it was Marty inside the chats. He was on an alien tattoo. So that's just like. So it remains to be seen whether the Air Force's unique decision will compel the Army, Marine Corps, or Navy with a storied ink history to do the same. And well, the Army. I don't think the Army will care. The Marines, Raw, Yut, and all that other Bellowood stuff. And the Navy, they've had tattoos. I think the Marines would be more restrictive on it, though. That's just me. They'd have the Marines would probably have some sergeant major or some first sergeant, or a gunny, or master gunnery sergeant, just sitting there looking at you while you're getting your tattoo, while you're sitting there. You know what I mean? Because you wouldn't be able to get a tattoo. So think about it. Just like you can't sell skin. So what if you wanted to get what kind of tattoos or what areas can you get them on this particular booth? This particular
They must have some type of regulation.
There has to be regulation on what kind of tattoos they're not going to give, right? Of tattoos that I have seen on body parts, I would be, yeah, there better be some. I wonder what kind of because you can't go in there and carrying something. Could you imagine if you're going into it's like in the mini mall or something like that, and then you're walking by with your kids and you see somebody getting their ass a freaking tattoo or getting some of their frontal parts tattooed. Or the front of their body tattooed or something like that. And people are going to be freaking out, you know what I mean?
I'm sure if they did something like that, they've got a little screen there. But I'm thinking couldn't do any hate speech or anything like that.
Right, exactly.
That could be taken that way.
Yeah, the Army's going to bring back was going to bring back PT belts. No chance on tattoos. That's right, man. I don't foresee that happening at all. I'm curious to see how far it's going to go. I'm waiting to see somebody... because you can't buy nudie mags in the AFI's establishment anymore. They took them down. So in an area that they don't want you, so let me get this straight. So in a fitness minded, you need to be of a certain age to buy smokes in this facility. They're just going to what's the age restriction too?
That was a good question.
What's the age restriction? I'm just kind of curious to see, there's a quote in the article that says, moto tattoos are often referred to as stupid stamps for a reason. For the impulsive junior enlisted airman, accessibility to a lifetime of regret just got a whole lot easier. I can just see these guys right here getting a tattoo. Or like if they get, you know what? Hey, instead of mandatory, could you imagine like if a first sergeant, if the Army would have got it, some first sergeant would make it mandatory to get a fucking tattoo of a unit or something like that. You know what I mean? That would just be my like, hey, you need to go get a haircut. No, I'm gonna go get a tattoo. You better have, you know what I mean? It'd be this. We would fuck it up. We would find a reason to mess it up somehow or any other than the Army.
No doubt.
You'd be like, where did you get this from? Oh, I got that from the tattoo shop. First sergeant said I needed to get this because it needed to say this. And then what?
Gotta have unit pride.
You have unit pride. Exactly. I know if it was one on the 101st, they'd be putting Tories all over the place. Rakusan symbols. I can't rock on the Rakusan. I can't. They were my first unit. One of my first unit fans that came out. Hey, thank you. We appreciate you. Blah, blah. I think they were just trying to stave off any drama. But anyways, I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it's pretty cool. Get some tattoos. Get some ink. I wonder how many. Did it say mandatory 3 ACR tattoos? Yeah, really. It didn't say right here. Well, matter of fact, let me look at the. Let me go on here on their Facebook page. Let me see. Let's see on their stuff here about their tattoo stuff. If they're gonna have any like certificate of achievement or something like that, are they going to have a some sort of social distancing policy? Are they gonna have any? You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, I don't know what would be a good thing.
They probably do got some social distancing policy right now, but I'm sure that won't last much longer.
Some of the comments that were said already, that if it's anything like the haircuts on post, no thanks. Because if you've seen a military haircut on post, then who does good? I mean, who do you normally see cutting your hair outside the shop? You see, Koreans and you see some of the Koreans out there. So who would be some tattoo artists? I would have, those Japanese guys, the Japanese samurai. Is it tattoo? I don't know what the correct name is for the specific Japanese tattoo artistry that they do, but it's wicked. So I wonder if there would be something like that. That'd be kind of cool to do something like that.
No, some airman's gonna try to moonlight a job.
It's gonna be somebody with a. There's going to be somebody with a DD-214 that thinks that they know how to do tattoos. I know a tattoo, man. That's one of those things that we were just talking about, throwing hands. Those are throwing hands criteria right there for messing up a tattoo. Ink's got to be straight when it comes to that stuff. And I've seen some good looking ink. I'm like, yeah, that's some badass ink. And I've seen some good. I've had some bad ink too. I want to do some sleeves or something like that. I need to cover up some of my bad shit that, hentai, there you go. I need some cover. I think I should just need to go ahead and just pull some investment IRAs and do some hentai tattoos and shit. Just cover do a couple sleeves and stuff like that.
Cover up her name.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The Soldier of the Month gets 25% off the tattoo shop. That's right, Marty. God, you're just full of it today. Loving the jokes. Loving the back and forth you guys are doing in the chats. Oh shit, did I even open up the other chat? No, I did not. Oh, I'm a bad host. God, I'm a bad host. I don't even know what other chats are going on right now. I'm sorry if I neglected you guys out in Twitch, out in the YouTubes. Damn, my bad. Shit. I apologize for that. But at any rate. So, check this out. I'm just going to go ahead and just start doing some freaking housekeeping.
Oh, is that time of the hour?
It's already, man. It is the next. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just go and forego all the pleasantries on this. We had Jerry Kissel come on yesterday. We had Haley Britzky on today, which we were glad that she was able to come on. So we appreciate again Task and Purpose again for letting her come on. And then we have Friday Night Freedom going on tomorrow. Tuesday. We all know. Yeah. We got Monday edition on Monday. Yeah. We know that. Tuesday. If you are a fan of the Avengers, if you are a fan of anything of the Marvel comic universe, actor Clark Gregg, he plays Agent Phil Coulson on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He's in Iron Man, Iron Man 2, Thor, the Avengers, Captain Marvel, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's been like the key tie-in to a lot of stuff. He's like one of those characters that has always been in all that Marvel that has tied into another. Agent Coulson lives. We need to hurry up and we need to hide our. We need 3 sleeves. I got the joke there, Heath. We need to hide all of our Hydra accoutrements because we always talk about us being Hydra, right? And a long time ago when I first started, I used to do the Hell Hydra thing, the freaking thing, but everyone got mad. They said it was too. That could be too misconstrued as too Nazi-like because Hydra was started from the Nazi. But if there was, if there's cut off, if you cut off one head, 2 shall take its place. Hail Hydra. People got butthurt because I used the Red Skull quote on one of my sound bites. So it was what advised that I not have that on there, which is fine. I mean, whatever.
It's public affairs for you.
Well, it's the fact that people get wrapped around over stupid shit over a movie. So if I say "May the Force be with you," am I gonna piss off a bunch of religious people because the way I say it and the way the feeling is with the Force and who it was designed with and who am I talking about? Are we talking about life force? Are we talking about some sort of life's giving some sort of resonating soul or something like that? Yeah, everyone gets mad, right? Nobody says anything like that. But when you say Hail Hydra, people freak out. But, I think that's why he's coming on. I think that's why he's coming on right now. Agent Phil Coulson. It's actually Clark Gregg. That's actually Agent Coulson playing Clark Gregg. That's what it is. That's the way I want to see it. He's coming on here to find out what's going on with all this Hydra stuff that's going on.
You better go hide.
Now I'm gonna go hide. We gotta hide all of our insignia, all of our Hydra insignia. I'm just kidding. But no, he's coming on. Talk to Pop Culture Warrior. Clark Gregg is going to be on. He's going to be shooting the breeze, and it's going to be a good show. It's going to be a big show. It's already being pushed out on the Twitterverse, and we already got everybody in the Marvel Cinematic world going, ooh, cool. Yeah, right. There we go. WTF Nation Radio, U.S. Army, WT Moments. Getting some mad Hollywood on this one, man. And then in a couple of Thursdays from now, we're right now trying to solidify this, but we're going to have Command Sergeant Major Phillips Blaisdell. Me and him, when we follow each other on Twitter, but he also hits the inbox. So anytime we have an issue, he is the CSM that we reach out in Alaska. And he's the one that there's an issue, a soldier issue that he wants to identify. He's those engaging leaders that wants to hear from us. Like, hey, anything going on, hit me up. And then, or sometimes he'll do a status check. We forget, like he's not an admin. He'll just come in and say, hey guys, how you doing? Hey, and drop in our DMs. So it's cool. It's awesome. He's going to be on here to talk about the U.S. Army Alaska's mission, because it also ties into our Indo-PACOM series. So you notice lately we had our cyber series. We had Pete Singer and August Cole, the writers and authors of Burn-In. We had General Hersey, the Cyber Center of Excellence, as part of the cyber series, and now we have the Indo-PACOM series with the 5th SVAB, the 25th ID, and now U.S. Army Alaska Senior Enlisted Advisor, or Command Sergeant Major Philip Blaisdell. So you can kind of see a trend here. So once this all ties together, our goal is to have EOS Indo-PACOM coming on here. Our goal is to have the Information Warfare Command down at Fort Gordon come on. We're looking forward to all that stuff. A lot of details, a lot of great shows that are coming out. You're probably going to see more publicized information. But we're excited, man. I'm really pumped for next Tuesday, man.
That's going to be a good show.
I'm going to start binge watching. I need to watch the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. again. I normally when I'm doing work or something like that, I'll have a movie playing or I'll have something playing in the background, and I don't. I really don't pay attention to those little nuances and stuff. And someone will say, "Yeah, he was in that scene and he was in that movie." I'm like, "What movie? I just saw that series." And I have to binge watch it again. I have to pay attention and not partake in any beverages, so that way my attention span could be focused a little bit more. But at any rate, the big hype, man. I'm pumped. I can't wait to have him come on here and shoot the shit with us and see what's up.
I want to hear about any new movies that are going to come out.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I think, and that's one thing when we work with some of the names like this, is that they're working on stuff. They don't tell us. They're not going to tell you. But we always like to get the drop on some stuff like that. I want to know. I want to know too.
You never know.
Yeah, he might.
Doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah, right. He might. He just might do it. He might provide us the information. So, anyways, again, we have Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday shows. Wednesdays and Saturday and Sunday are the off days for us to goof off. And then we have we are definitely going to start looking at opening up the slots. It's been so many days. It's been like several thousand days now since we've assimilated anybody into the WTF Nation for employment and volunteering. Once pay attention, you're going to see some social media push out. Rebel scum, exactly. Push out an advertisement. We'll provide you a link to hire on, because we're looking at hiring on some new members of the staff. because we're getting kind of big. The engines that we need a bigger aircraft because our engines are getting pushed into afterburner. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this. Maybe looking at working with the Army to see if I can get any active duty soldiers to come on. And hey, we're cool. Just we're cool with this. Can you come on and let them come on and let them do some stuff like that so you can have some of your soldiers learn how to be broadcasters and stuff like that for the PA world and the PSYOP world and the civil affairs world and all that stuff, or the information operations world. I just want to open it up. You know what I'm saying? But once that comes out, I'll probably we'll probably see some stuff out or reach some people. For the public ones, you'll see some adverts out for that. You got anything for me? Freaking Shipwreck, you're just so enthusiastic right now. You're cutting me off. You're like talking too much, bro. Chill, slow down.
I'm just thinking about what tattoo to get at now. Trying to figure that out.
Well, yeah, that's right. It's in your AO. What's the pay like? And can you get some vacation time immediately? There is no pay. You're dealing with drama and of course, the vacation time is how you do it. This is a vacation. This is fun. I'm not going anywhere. But anyways, all right. With that, then I'll go. I guess we're gonna close it up, dude. It's almost a minute before index. Thank you guys for coming on and listening to us. Thank you so much again to Task and Purpose for allowing Haley to come on and give us an update about the Vanessa Guillen case, Alwyn Cash. And, of course, all the investigations that are happening as well. So, again, thank you guys for hanging out. And shots.
Hey, this is SEAC retired John Wayne Troxel. You're listening to WTF Nation Radio, the station of choice for all of the badass MFers on the planet.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Intergalactic horse, and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. And now they say that they've discovered life up there on Mars, so let's blow it all to hell and then claim it for ours. We'll paint the moon red, white, and blue for no other reason than we wanted to. Oh, Jupiter, imagine what you could become. A stupid, pointless planet turned into a giant gun. And Russia, so sorry, have to burst your bubble. Be a good sport, now sit back, relax, and watch us through the bubble as we celebrate the greatness of the United Planets of America. Space Force, Space Force. We'll saddle up our intergalactic horse and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force.
Now we'll go to infinity and beyond, beyond. You'll hear our manly voices singing Space Force strong. Though critics say sound doesn't travel in space, to which we reply sound will do as we say. Oh, Captain Kirk, your achievements, though notable and fine, as far as we're concerned, this is Deep Space Mine. And big fans, but Lord Vader, step away from the lightsaber. There can only be one, of course. Space Force. Ra-da-da-da-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum, dum, 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 ra-da-da-da-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum, dum, 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 dum. Space Force, Space Force. We'll saddle up our intergalactic horse and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. Space
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.